Hi. So I was an extra in the 4th season of Stranger Things, and this is a video that I am pretty much explaining my experience. Stranger Things is my favorite show of all time. Like, the amount of stress that I was put on trying to apply to be on this show for like 3 years, like, the fact that I became an extra at the tail end, and like since I was a minor, it was like a lightning in the bottle, because they weren't really casting minors at all for the entire production until the very end, where they so basically around the beginning of summer of 2021, so last year, they put out this casting call for 3 days of minors. It was like 16 and 17-year-olds, since they just started allowing minors on set because of COVID and all that. And I had already been applying to things like earlier on, like back before COVID hit and all that, when they were allowing minors still. And I was almost asked to try out to audition for the basketball scene, which was called a baseball scene at the time, weirdly enough. But obviously I wasn't picked for that. And then 2 years just waiting, and then like not really waiting, but like 2 years just trying and nothing really happened, and then like not really having an opportunity to apply. And so I applied for those 3 days that I needed minors, and like literally like an hour later, because I went to swim practice, and then when I got in the car, I just sat in the parking lot, and I got a text message from one of the people that is the one that texted me last time, literally is asking days to go and do my fitting, and literally like an hour later. And I when I tell you that I screamed, and I was just blasting Bob O'Reilly, because that was like a show that gives me nostalgia for season 3. Just my entire drive home, just blasting that song, and like just screaming. And then when I got home, my mom, who was already an extra in season 4 back in May, was like, there was really no way to make it, but I had to make it. Like, she said it was gonna be hard, but like I had to make it to that day. So it was like literally the next day or so, or the next 2 days or so, was when I went for the fitting. Scratch that. More like a week, more like a month-ish. It was like the very beginning of June time frame. No, that was when summer hit. So like the middle of June, I went to set, and I did this COVID test thing prior, because I couldn't make it to the COVID test since that was the next day, but I was able to make it to the hair and costume fitting. When I got there, there was a bunch of there's like 6 others. None of them were minors. They were just like regular like 18, 20-year-olds that were doing high school scenes. And we were all like getting picked off one by one to go to the back of Screen Gem, one of the rooms, like a trailer room that had, where I got put into a little closet, and I was given different things. I was given a blue vest with a plaid thing, and then khaki pants, but the khaki pants didn't fit, so they gave me green khaki pants, which was awesome. And then I had these ugly shoes, and they like really were uncomfortable, and the whole costume was super tight. So yeah, but it was my Stranger Things costume, so how could I not like it? And then I had a perm at the time, because I thought it'd be cool, and I think that's why I got picked, was the perm. But they went and undid the perm on the shooting day, when they said the perm was good. But they literally did nothing to change. They wanted me to grow a mustache, but I was 16 at the time, and I couldn't just grow a mustache. So I didn't do a mustache. Obviously I have one now, since like a year later. But yeah, they wanted me to grow a mustache, and I couldn't. But they're like, oh, it's fine. And then, yeah, so it was like a week until my first filming day after that. My first day of filming was so fun and so not fun, but like it was so nerve-wracking and so exciting. We got a hotel in, where's Stockbridge, Georgia. That's where the high school is at. Which isn't, I'm not breaking NDA or anything like that. Like, it's literally public knowledge, like not public knowledge, but you can look it up. I was put into the big, humongous tent was on the baseball field, and then I went in and got a COVID test just to make sure, and then we had to sit in this other little tent inside the tent while we waited for the results. And then once you got your results, positive, like negative, you went, and then you got your costume on, and then you went to hair and makeup, where they went and undid my perm, and then gave me like face powder, and then they like had me shave too. They gave me like these plastic shaver things, and then had me shave completely. And then I had to walk around in that costume for about a few hours while they waited for the minors to be used. I'm not entirely sure what all like the 18 plus kids were doing that day, but the minors and then a few of the other 18-year-old plus people went to the cafeteria, and we were held there for about an hour or 2 hours. I sat at the table in the corner of the cafeteria. It was all decked out and all the props and everything. The 86 on the wall. There was a bunch of other extras that were seen very well. I was sitting at the table with I was sitting at the table with the extras that are sitting right behind Max and Mike and Dustin at the pep rally. I was also given a flag as my prop that I had, and then we went and shot this scene, which I am in, but you can't see me. I am at the very, very end of the hallway that Max is walking. Like this is Max. I'm walking. I'm in the back behind her at the door with. I'm sitting like against the door, against the trash can next to the door, and I'm like waving to a friend wearing that costume. And I wasn't seen because I'm kind of blurred out with the camera focusing on Max, and then being also kind of far in the back, so I wasn't seen. But I'm there, and then that's all I shot for that day. And then the second day, which is that day hurt me so bad. I went in, they did my hair a different way. They like made it go down and then gel it like this, and and then I went, and that day was kind of sitting in the thing for quite a bit. Like it was kind of stressful how often we had to sit in there. And then we got walked over to it. Like we got walked over to the big set, and then we walked in. All the minors, they were brought in, and then they were in the middle of shooting the cafeteria scene with Eddie and all that. And everybody just looked at us, and we were all sitting there quietly. And then one of the PAs had like pushed us out, and we went and sat in the hallway, kind of just sitting there being useless. And then they picked out some extras, and then I just sat there for about an hour in the hallway. It was cool to see that I walked in and saw the bathroom that Steve and Nancy made out in the first season. I saw the hallway that Tina was handing out flyers in season 2. I saw those little. I was inside of Hawkins High School, which still was worth it, but like I wasn't used that day. It was kind of sad. Considering I only had 3 days of filming, it was kind of sad that one of them was just wasted. But it's still being on set, and it's my favorite show, so honestly, I'd love to just be there, period. And then the third day, which was the best day of my life, probably. I did 2 big sequences, and I met the character, like saw characters, and it was awesome. So basically, I went in, they made my hair different, and they made it more natural, like how it is now in that, for some reason. And then that scene, that day was the big Object of My Desire scene where Robin and Steve drive down to the school, and Max gets off the bus and talks to Counselor Kelly. I was on the bus. I was the first kid in the very first seat of the bus. I had my own seat. That was the one next to the stairs. And then the bus driver extra, who we called Mr. Peabody, I think was what everybody called him as a joke. He was actually an extra in season 3 in the movie theater and in the fair. And then he was also used in the war zone, and then also in the hallway later on as a teacher, and then as like an angry hick. And yeah, so we talked to him a lot, and he made a video talking about his experience on his Instagram. But yeah, so I got off the bus. I was like the 3rd person off the bus, and you can see me. Oh, I'm seeing it next season. In that big, that's the one that I said. See me walking to the pep rally. And Max came onto the bus, and she walked right past us, and like she was on the 3rd seat back, I think 4th or 3rd seat back. And then we kind of all was talking and stuff in the heat because it was hot as hell in that bus. And we kind of just talking about stuff, and like she was like saying how hot it is, and we were like, I was starstruck, but I wasn't as like crazy. I was starstruck, but like I didn't make it noticed. And they were playing Take On Me, Take On Me from Haha on the big speakers. So like I thought that was gonna be used in that scene, but they ended up using a different song, and that was awesome. But then so we went back and we ate, and I was all hyped up because I was like, actually did a big sequence, and I was given glasses and given like a binder and stuff to hold, so I felt very in character. And then we had lunch, and then the kids below 16 were sent home, and then like a few of the minors that were 16 and up, we were taken to the scene where if I find a picture, it might just be blank right now, so I might not be able to find a video. But it was where everyone's at the basketball game and they're walking down the parking lot. I'm in the crowd with this kid in the blue tracksuit, and then me and him were paired together, and I talked to him a lot, and we walked down in that parking lot, like we were going all excited, like, oh my god, the game, and we walk into our car out of the parking lot. So yeah, those were two of the big sequence scenes I did, and that was like my last day. We all named name ourselves. Like, I named my extra Adam Hickson because my mom was an extra in the scene where Patrick dies at the Lipton house. My mom is in the second car that pulls up behind Powell and Callahan, and you can see her getting out right here. And then she's also in the window when it goes into Lover's Lake and it shows the fish getting attacked by the tendril. My mom's in that window looking for evidence on Patrick's death. And then she was in the scene of the gang arriving to the Lipton house, and she was like telling people to back up, but you can't see her because she was like on the other side of the camera, like more. But she worked 2 days, and then so her name was Officer Hickson. She was getting a little badge since I'm her son, and I'm her son in the show. That means my extra character's last name was Hickson since my mom was a cop. So yeah. So being an extra in the show means that like I have higher priority of season 5. Like everybody that worked on it prior is going to be given like a bigger chance than people who haven't. And so since I turn 18 next month, and then they start applying for season 5, which is mostly going to be in Hawkins after you see the ending. So I'm really hoping with all the friends I have are extras and how many connections I have that I'll work a lot more in season 5. But I only am a minor, and so I only work those 3 days. But those 3 days were like probably the highlight of the year, the highlight of probably this decade for me. Definitely probably going to be. Well, not like it. I mean, I don't know, but it was awesome. Being on set with my favorite show. Like I literally watched that show on repeat. I'm not lying. I may sound crazy, but it's true. But yeah, if you guys have any questions in the comments, I'll definitely answer them. I have I'll show a little slideshow now of all the pictures I have. But yeah, I worked as a Hawkins High School extra, and that was like kind of my experience. So yeah, thanks for watching.